Hey everyone, this is Brian from Vance and Hines, and thanks for joining me on another Fuelpak Friday. We'll go ahead and wait for Instagram to catch up. There we go. So a couple of weeks ago, we asked on our Instagram stories, like, what are things that you guys would like to see? What would you like to hear? What would you like to learn about? So today, instead of doing our normal Q&A, what we're going to do is we're going to give a brief overview, since a lot of you asked about Autotune, how to do it effectively, how to do it efficiently, and sort of good like best practices for Autotune. So grabbed our handy Fuelpak Pro manual, which has a lot of really good information in it. If you want to download this in its entirety in PDF, you can go to fuelpakpro.vanceandhines.com, go to downloads, and you can download the entire thing. So as many of you know, in order to get to Autotune, you go to the main menu, you select Autotune. From there, you'll select your base calibration. Typically, your base calibration will be something that you are currently or already running. It would be something like, say, if we're talking about a Sportster with short shot staggered, it would be the Vance and Hines map that we've created in our dyno with widebands for short shot staggered on the Sportster. So from there, you would select that base map. It would put you in Autotune mode, and then you guys would be faced with the normal screen you're used to seeing, which looks like that. Basically a blank, empty table, totally white, with a cursor that moves up and down the range through both throttle position and RPM. Now, the goal of Autotune is to basically learn new values for your volumetric efficiency tables. And we do that by going through a couple things. The first is that we've flattened the target AFR table, something within the closed loop range. So closed loop range is basically anything that can be read by the oxygen sensors, the narrowbands, front and rear. And part of what we do when we go into Autotune mode is we drop that to a leaner area that you can actually read with those O2 sensors. So somewhere in the realm of 14.4 to 14.6 for a target AFR across the entire tables. We also disable anything that modifies fuel. So like cold start enrichment, acceleration enrichment, deceleration alignment, things like that get turned off while you're in Autotune mode. So the bike will run a bit different than normal, typically like a little more on the poor side. And that is also that we can collect data from the oxygen sensors to create new files. Now, typically best practices are going to be to run a couple shorter sessions, somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. And you'll need about 2 or 3 to those. Those sessions, you kind of want to try different throttle ranges. You want to get up in the RPM range. So what ends up happening is if you are filling out this particular table here, you notice that you're not quite getting to these higher range portions, then you might just need to not upshift. You might need to just rev it out a little bit longer, stay in that lower gear to get a higher RPM out of it. Ideally, in a perfect world, when you're done, it would look like this. Again, this is from a Fuelpak Pro, so this is a full controlled dyno session. Really out on the road, it's going to look like this, but it will sort of extend out. So it'll sort of finish this little football shape. So here, and then all the way around. When you have something that sort of looks like a football, that's how you know you're done. From there, we have a new button on the bottom called Preview. So down at the Preview button, it'll be in the lower right-hand corner of your Autotune screen. That Preview button allows you to look at the volumetric efficiency delta tables, which is the difference between where a map starts and where a map ends. So by looking at the volumetric efficiency delta tables, you get a chart that looks like this. So it's based on a 5-color scale, where red is adding a ton of fuel, and this little blue spot here, you can kind of make it out. That's a spot where we removed a lot of fuel. So on the blue end of the spectrum, we're pulling fuel out. On the red end of the spectrum, we're adding a lot of fuel in, and green is sort of the happy medium. Green is where you want to aim for. So that's after session 1. You can see after session 2, it gets progressively better. And then after session 3, it is polished. This is what you want to end up with in those volumetric efficiency delta tables. Now, the way we get there from helps if I flip the page the right way. So the way we get there from this mess where we just added insane amount of fuel is through a couple buttons. One, at the very bottom of the center, you'll see one that says apply learned values. Go ahead and press that. Select apply. Apply will basically take the changes made through the Autotune mode, flash them into ECU, but it keeps you in Autotune. It makes it so you can do a second pass or a third pass or a fourth pass if needed. So that is sort of the most time efficient way to do this is you would hit apply learned values, hit apply, and then do your next run. So if you think about it in the concept of a ride, say I want to do it by going up to, like, I live in LA. So say I want to go to like Topanga Canyon. I would basically start Autotune at my house. I would get to the turn off. Maybe I need gas. I could flash the learned values, hit apply learned values, hit apply into my bike, turn off the bike. I could fill up my tank with fuel, keep it in Autotune mode again, roll, go through the canyon, get to the top, apply learned values, apply, take it back down to say like Malibu Canyon, go the other direction, and then when I finally get home, I can hit apply learned values and finish. So finishing is what sets everything at the end, and it finalizes the map. So for the first two sessions, hit apply learned values, apply, and for the very last one, you'll want to hit finish. Finish again finalizes the map. So what does that mean? It basically means that the target AFR table that we leaned out to one set value, one set lean value of about 14.4 to 14.6 to 1 goes back to normal, which means at wide open throttle, you'd be looking at like 12 to 1. Acceleration, you're looking somewhere in that same range, 12 to 13 to 1. And then cruising range, you're still at like 14.4, 14.6. And you do that for fuel economy, and it's also where the oxygen sensors can still read, taking advantage of those automatic fuel trims built into the ECU. So what ends up happening is when that goes back to normal, you now can go wide open throttle. You're getting the fuel that you need. Things like performance enrichment, where if you hold the throttle wide open for about 3 seconds, performance enrichment kicks in, which adds additional fuel to protect your motor, to help cool down your motor so you don't go too lean. These things all get turned back on. So performance enrichment, deceleration alignment, cold start enrichment, PE, all that stuff comes back after the map has been finalized. So that is it. Thank you guys for joining me on this Fuelpak Friday. If you want to learn more about the FP3, we're going to do some more of these instructional videos in the future. If you have any questions, drop them into the comment section below, and I will talk to you guys and add them and answer them throughout the day. And that's it. Again, thanks guys for joining me, and we'll keep this rolling with some more instructional videos. Thanks, guys.